Hey everybody, it's Wednesday noonish, so it must be time to teach your business to fish. This is your business guide, Michael Rager, here with you. Man, I'm excited today. I get to bring back one of our early guests, Lee Winkleman from Hopkins Centrich, Winkleman and Drucker. So we get to learn law today. Let's give you a good. You like that? He's over this side. He's giving me he's my cheerleader today to get me that. But man, we're going to come in. We're going to talk about law and what goes on, and with going on in business, here in COVID, and how we protect businesses and all that stuff. And one of the reasons I want to segue into that and start with this little introduction we always do is I want to talk about leverage, and this is what businesses are doing right now. They're leveraging their workforce, and they're actually leveraging some of their cash flow and their finances, and they're leveraging a whole bunch of things by having effective workforces working from home. And that's what we got to look at. We got to look at as business owners how we can leverage certain things to make our business more successful. One of the big things I like to do is I love to leverage relationships, and one of the ways I do it is networking, getting joint venture partners, meeting great partners like Lee. I've got a lot of other people that we try to refer each other business. We try to introduce each other to great people that we never have an opportunity to meet without them, and that's the kind of things that we want to be able to do. We want to leverage these types of things. When we go out on our fishing rod, go fishing, the biggest thing we use to leverage, is our fishing rod. We could do a lot with a little. And as you see, when Lee went with us earlier this year, we were catching some jumbo snapper and stuff like that. But I was the guy sitting in the boat with this really small back bass rod and using this tiny reel and this tiny rod and catching these giant snapper. But it's being able to leverage and understand your equipment and what you're trying to do. And this is what business is a lot is about. And coming in and out of this COVID thing that none of us have ever had to deal with before, leveraging opportunities and leveraging relationships is one of the things that we all had to learn how to do. And the more successful you are at doing it, the more successful you've been through the whole situation, and the more successful you're going to be coming out of this. We're getting in this time right now. We say that we're getting another COVID push. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. Those of you that know me know I'm from Michigan, and Michigan just shut down some stuff today. It's been a really interesting a news day in Michigan. I used to be in the oil and gas business, and the state took away this Line 5, which is this pipeline that goes under Lake Michigan. Oh wow! And they took away the rights for the right of way. And Enbridge has got till the end of 2021 to clean the line and remove it. And it's been in service since 1953. So it's going to be really amazing, a lot of things that are going on and what's happening and how that's going to shift what happens in the pipeline industry. Because I do a lot of stuff. I came from that industry. I do a lot of stuff with oil and gas companies. And as I'm looking to leverage some relationships right now, I've been reaching out to people that I haven't talked to in 6, 8, 9, 10 months and letting them know some new things that I'm doing. And that's what you've got to be doing as a business owner. You've got to let people know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it. And if you don't reach out and talk to them, they're not going to know. Lee and I will get into it a little bit when we bring him on camera in a minute. But I just did it with it a week ago. We had a networking event. We brought out some really nice people and let people meet some people that they never would have met before. And it was the ability for them to start setting up relationships so they can start leveraging them. And that's what it's all about. Jonathan, how many minutes do I got to ramble? What do I got now? 2. Hey man, I did that pretty good. I love it. But this is the thing that we want to be doing. We want to be looking at how we can set up opportunities for our company to be more successful, because that's where it's coming into now. We got to start looking at now. I think really the worst of everything's going over. We're going to be transitioning one way or another politically, and I'm going to tell you, as small business owners, it really is not going to affect you much at all. It really won't. Whoever's president is not going to affect you much at all, except emotionally. Just get out of it, get out of the way, and just go do your work. And what's going to happen is, the government just sets up rules for us to function. It's just like playing a football game. Here's the rules. Those who understand the rules and live on the edge of them the closest are the ones that are more successful, and that's why you need good attorneys like this guy over here to get you through and get you to that. So we're getting ready, Jonathan. We're going to send you out. We're going to come back. We're going to have Lee. We're going to talk about business. So, thanks for you guys are out here. And we're going to couple you out here live and kind of go from there. So this is Michael Rager, teacher of business to fish, your business guide. We'll be back in just a minute with Lee Winkleman.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The Now Media Video Business Card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The Now Media Video Business Card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Do you want to experience the ease and convenience of the latest and most advanced home security system? Are you going away on vacation and want to have peace of mind while you're not at your home or at your office? According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds, and homes and businesses without a security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. 𝗪𝗂𝗃 provides security solutions to residential and small businesses in the state of Texas and from California to Georgia, building a custom-tailored security setup that matches your needs. Whether it is home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood detection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, alarm monitoring, and life safety. In addition to fire and carbon monoxide detection, 𝗪𝗂𝗃 has a smart home and business integration, expanding security services to a lifestyle solution, keeping customers connected to their home and businesses from anywhere in the world, from their tablet or mobile device. So you can have peace of mind even if you're not at home or in your office. Reduce your energy cost, scheduling automatic changes in thermostats or lighting. And because we rely on our heroes every single day, 𝗪𝗂𝗃 offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Our mission is to keep our clients safe, treat them like family, and provide them with a user-friendly security system with personalized customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For integrity, honesty, passion, and excellent customer service, take a strong step today toward getting protected and call Rosanna Torres at 832-863-8574 because every home and business is unique and every security system should be unique too.
Hey, this is your business guide, Michael Rager. We're back with Teach Your Business to Fish. So we've got Mr. Lee Winkleman back. You were here in my early, I don't think it was first show, second show. You were really early.
My beard has gotten so much bigger too. That's crazy.
It's gotten fuller.
Yeah, I have vowed not to. I haven't cut my hair. Well, I've shaved, but I haven't cut my hair since 2020 started. So
okay,
yeah, it's my 2020 haircut.
I got a guy that I work out, and he's got the little man bun now.
I can do a man bun. I never thought I'd be able to. I don't ever wear it in public, but yeah, in the comfort of my own home, it's actually pretty comfortable. So.
Is it? I've never had enough.
Yeah, no, I can't lie. So
I can't grow the beard either. I look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
After about about 3 weeks, and it's just not.
When are you gonna? You think you're gonna hit puberty? Is that gonna?
I don't. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. My 8-year-old's got a better mustache.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I hear you, man.
All right, man. Well, let's catch up a little bit. What's going on in the law world, man? What's going on with your company? You guys were fairly new when we met.
Brand new,
coming along 6 months since.
God is good. That's all I'll say. We've been very blessed we've just kind of gone off like gangbusters and been very, very busy. We've hired a new associate. We've hired a couple new folks. So it's we're growing, blowing and growing, and just. So that everyone knows, I'll give my spiel for the firm. I think we've gotten a little bit better focus on kind of the services that we're offering and stuff like that. But we're a law firm. We're up in the Woodlands, but we do work all over the state. But we're a firm for businesses, business owners, and business people. Okay. Literally, if you're one of those folks, we're going to be able to help you. You know, we even have family law, kind of trust and estates, wealth planning section for business owners, for business people. I do a lot of work personally representing CEOs and key employees and negotiating their contracts with larger companies. So, and then we also represent businesses in all manner of transactions, disputes, and that sort of thing. So
well, that's cool. Is when we met you guys, man, it was right kind of early on in COVID. I think we were just kind of coming out the first time we were allowed to go out.
Exactly.
And you and Kirby and Joe, we all went fishing together with 𝗪𝗠, who we got to get George. George he needs to come on this show, and he's just like afraid to sit on that end of the microphone.
The thing is, George is like literally one of my favorite people in the world, and he's got such a good heart. And yes, we have absolutely. I know he's got something to share. He's got something to share for everyone.
He knows the Houston real estate market is.
Dude, that guy is good. He is good. George Montez. If you need a commercial broker, that's your guy.
Yeah. So we're gonna get him on. So when we started talking the other day, you said, "Hey, I want to come back on. I want to talk about some things that are going on because people, unless you have a team and this team is now working from home." That puts together some new challenges for business owners, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I want to back up to something you said in your intro, which was relationships. Okay, leveraging relationships. The most important relationship a business has is the relationship with its employees.
Yep.
Okay, that is a very regulated relationship, but it's also a relationship that is like you don't exist without your employees, right? If you don't have anyone, you may have all the vision in the world, you may have the best business plan in the world, but if you have no one to execute it, it's not worth anything. And that relationship, one of the things I've been an employment lawyer now. I've represented management employment for almost 20 years, for at least all of the century that I've been a lawyer. Okay, so. And one of the things that I always want to stress to my clients is that when we look at the law is always just it's like our floor. Okay, it's not our ceiling. It's not like we're going to say, well, we're following the law, therefore we're doing the right thing for our employees. That's like it's expected you're going to follow the law to do the right thing for your employees. But what you can do is if you're a business, to be a good business, you not only want to be profitable, right? That measure good. That's sort of like that's the raison d'être, the reason for being. But the other piece of it too is you have a chance to be an awesome employer, and you are going to affect so many more lives, so many more lives. Being an awesome employer, being a place that people are excited to work, a place that they thrive, a place that they grow, a place that is a place where they want to be. All right, you're going to touch so many more lives. You're going to do so much more good, and you are going to have a devoted, loyal workforce. Okay, 100%. Michael, I'm sure you've been at jobs before that you didn't like, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How much better is your productivity at a job that you enjoy versus one that you just hate?
Oh, it's way better. And it's funny is I talk about what you're talking about right now because it's so important. I grew up in Michigan. We were talking about earlier, and there's unions are big, and stuff are big, and it's when some of the right to work stuff started coming along. People are like, "Oh my God, we're going to get fired. We're going to get fired."
Right.
And I used to tell people good employers are not going to fire their best people.
Right.
You only got to worry about it if you suck.
Exactly, and that's what, from the employer standpoint, is what a union sort of does. Is it sort of it puts mediocrity in it. It's sort of it's like I won't. No offense to anyone that's in a union, but I think that is the view for employers. Is it sort of creates job security for mediocre work. Okay.
Yep.
No, that is 100% right. The economics of it are this: if you're a good employee and you're doing a good job, you know how much it costs to replace you? I mean, it's so expensive. It is probably, it could be up to half of your yearly salary just to replace you and train a new replacement. So employers are not stupid. Employers, generally speaking, don't fire people for no reason.
Right.
They shouldn't, at least. But if you're absolutely. If you're a good employee, you don't have anything to worry about. Yeah.
Then I think it's really important, like you said, is you need to be a good employer.
Yes.
If you're a great employer,
yes,
you get better employees.
Yes, exactly.
And they stay longer.
Right. And I'll tell you that I like if if you have a loyal employee, an employee that values you as an employer, they are going to work so much harder and put in so much extra effort than they otherwise would, because they appreciate you. And it's the thing with that employer-employee relationship, when it's good, it's just a beautiful thing, because there's all this sort of reciprocity of, you know, the employers treating the employee well because they want that employee to thrive. And it all comes down to just human relationships. You know, at the end of the day, everything is about human relationships. What is it going to take for me to get the most out of this employee? What does that employee need to see from me? You know, like, for example, having, you know, I'm in a management position now at my own firm. You know, my philosophy is I'm never going to ask an employee to do something that I either A, have not done, or B, would not be willing to do. You know, in terms of, you know, that's how I was when I did personal training, is, you know, I was always the type that I'm not going to ask a client to do more work than I would be willing to put in. And I think that when you show your employees that look, you're not just pushing stuff off to them, you're taking responsibility, because honestly, it's not just, I mean, the buck stops with me. The buck stops with the business owner. Okay, right. And there's nothing worse than a business owner that wants to blame all of their problems on their employees and not take any responsibility for it. So,
yeah, one of my, I teach a lot of organizational leadership and going in. One of my great friends, Lady 𝗵𝗁, she's out in North Carolina, and she has a place called Commonwealth Health. She's the CEO there. And when she got in, it was struggling. I mean, they owed a whole bunch of money. They were way in debt. They were paying doctors like nothing. They were in rural healthcare. And what she did is she implemented a leadership program. And what she started doing is she didn't start teaching the doctors how to be leaders. She started teaching the bottom line, the people that came into contact with their clients, how to be better at what they did. And what happened was, she said, after about 6 weeks, I had about 30% of them quit because they didn't want to be that good.
Exactly.
And they said, I'm not staying here because they're expecting me to be good.
Right.
And they left.
Yes.
And then what happened was the new employees that came in were even better.
100%.
And what happened, they started raising the floor. And I think it was about 8 years, Pam took this place from struggling to winning the 𝗪𝗵𝘁 Award.
Yeah.
I mean, and she was a great employer. She was very demanding.
Right.
But she offered assistance. She trained. And she actually took one of her ladies that was in that original group, eventually became COO of the company.
That's awesome.
I mean, she was there just working, and the lady left, and she went to one of the major healthcare organizations in Raleigh. Yeah. They recruited her away, and that's what you want to do.
It's a beautiful thing, man. That's a great story. And let me tell you this. Here's what she did, and this is what. This is the word I think that employers need to always remember is empowerment. Okay, she empowered those employees. She gave them agency over what they do. Okay, if you go in there and you tell an employee, look, I believe in you. I know you can do this. I'm going to expect a lot out of you, but I know that you can do this. I have confidence in you, and you know what? Even more so, I am going to work with you, and I'm going to do anything I can to make you succeed. Like, there are, what I see the most in lawsuits where, you know, there's some sort of discrimination claim or something like that, somebody's gotten fired, is that I was never given the opportunity to succeed. I had a thumb on me the whole time, you know, I was never given the opportunity to breathe and kind of, you know, show how great I was, you know, that sort of thing. And that I see that a lot in the workplace, this sort of like, I don't care what you think, I don't care you know, what you want to do or what ideas you might have. I'm paying you to do a job, just do it, you know, and that is so stifling. I mean, you have to have a good mix. You have to, you know, you can't have, obviously, you know, too many cooks in the kitchen in terms of like throwing out ideas, management ideas, but at the same time, it's all about empowerment, empowering the employee, putting them in a place where they can succeed. You know?
Well, and that was a great way. We got like 30 seconds left in this session, so we had a great first session. We're going to get some more, so we're going to take you out. You know, Lee, how do people get a hold of you? Where do they find you?
Yeah, so you can email me at Lee, L-E-E, my name there, at HopkinsCentrich.com. That's HopkinsCentrich.com. And you can look us up at www.hopkinscentrich.com.
All right, so we're going to send you guys out to break. We're going to be back. We're going to get farther into this and talk some more. So I hope you guys liked that first session. That was awesome. So we'll be back in a minute.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The 𝗪𝗵𝘁 video business card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The 𝗪𝗵𝘁 video business card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hi, this is Scarlett Horton. You may remember me from the morning news. We know that finding the right team for your painting project can be overwhelming, and if not done right, a painting project can easily go over your budget. At CertaPro Painters of Central Houston, our professionals will ensure your residential or commercial painting projects run smoothly and are convenient for your schedule, leaving you time for what matters most. CertaPro of Central Houston has been serving the Houston metro area for more than a decade and has a solid reputation. You can read reviews from our clients and see examples of our work on our social media pages, letters of recommendation, website, and Google reviews. Additionally, at CertaPro Painters of Central Houston, we warranty our work for 2 years. We offer free color consultation. We do residential and commercial jobs, interior and exterior, and we are licensed and insured. Not to mention, we are experts in painting cabinets. CertaPro is the largest painting contractor in the USA. Our crews are not only qualified and skilled painters, they are the best at what they do, and we are always on time. Let our experts at CertaPro of Central Houston transform your home and business. Our proven process gives you more time to enjoy moments that matter in the spaces you love. Alfredo, Mallory, and John are experienced professionals who will work with you every step of the way to ensure a flawless finish. Call us today at 713-824-5166 and let CertaPro of Central Houston handle with ease, efficiency, and high professionalism your next residential and commercial painting project, because the world needs color.
The right tax team is key to any successful business. At America's Tax Firm, our goal is to help individuals and businesses of all sizes with accounting solutions and tax strategies that yield profitability, sustainability, and growth. At America's Tax Firm, we have a team of experienced tax consultants and advisors that can help your company optimize business strategies to minimize taxes and reduce liabilities. From preparing and filing your personal or business taxes, or choosing the right legal structure for your business, to resolving complex tax issues with the IRS, America's Tax Firm is your turnkey solution. Take a strong and decisive step and let America's Tax Firm be part of your success.
All right, we're back with Lee Winkleman from, let's go through it all again. Hopkins Centrich
Winkleman and Drucker. Yeah, HCWD. Just remember that HCWD.
All right, man. These law firms, man. They got these law guys.
𝗪𝗵𝘁.
Yeah, I was going to say that. So that was a great first segment. You know, I want to come up with one more. I was telling you, we were talking a little bit in the break, and some of the people on Facebook Live saw it. But you know, a couple years ago, I got to sit down with 𝗪𝗵𝘁, and I just happened to be at an event, and he was at my table, and one of the things he talked about to me, and he said, Mike, he goes, I'm so proud when one of my employees gets hired away by one of my clients.
100%, yep.
You know, what does that say about an employer?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's because they know that employee, right, is if they're a client-facing employee, is doing such a good job for you, on your end, you know, for your as an employer, that they want to get hired away. I mean, there's no bigger compliment than that. There's absolutely no bigger compliment. If I have a lawyer that's working for me at the law firm and they get hired away by a client to be an in-house lawyer, that just tells me I have good taste.
Yeah. You found good people.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but the great thing is that in that situation, is that generally speaking, that relationship continues. That lawyer that works in house will send work to our firm. It's a beautiful thing. It's sort of a win-win situation. So absolutely, there are a number of reasons why it's a great thing for you to have former employees, especially those that like you at clients.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to. Number one, it's a testament to you as an employer, the people you're hiring, but number two, anyway, number one. Right. But number two is, they continue on that relationship between the client and the.
One of the things that we found is we do a lot of operational procedures for companies, and we ask the employees why they're successful and how they're successful and how they do what they do. And what we find is when those really good employees leave in that type of situation, they're better to training their replacement.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to train their replacement up for success, and it just makes you look better.
It is, man. There is. I always tell every new employee I work with, I tell them this. I say, look, all I care about is your give a shit. Okay, all I care about is that you give a shit about this job and you want to do a good job, because I can work with lack of knowledge. I can work with lack of ability. I can work with lack of skill. I can teach those things and work with people on those things. What I can't do is I can't get inside of your head and I can't make you motivated. I can't motivate you to do this job. I can't motivate you, I can give you all the external motivations in the world, but until you have those internal motivation, what I call the give a shit, it's not gonna work out, because look, I've been in jobs, trust me, I've been there. I've had jobs that I'm just completely disinterested in and I'm just doing, just to do. And I know how much productivity the employer's going to get out of me on that end. So it's like, I think we've all been there. We all know this intuitively, but it's just something that we really need to be cognizant of. And because here's the thing is that one of the perverse incentives is that a lot of these things we're talking about to promote a great workforce and to promote loyal employees and employees that love you and want to work for you, is it can be expensive and it can cut into the bottom line. But I tell employers this all the time, is at the end of the day, it's only going to help your bottom line. Like, you may see an initial hit there. You may be spending more for certain things than you otherwise would, but that you're going to make that up in gains in productivity. You're going to make it up in, here's the other thing too. If you need, a referral system within your company, if you need a new employee, you have these great employees, they know people, that are, it's a beautiful thing.
It is. Well, let's go into what we were talking a little bit about. So now we're working from home, we got COVID, and we're the employer.
Yes.
It was really interesting. You were talking about, some things that employers don't think about now that they got employees working from home. Right. What's one of the top things that employers need to think about?
Well, okay, so the number one thing is, I'm going to get to the laws in a second, but man, the number one thing is, can the employee do this job from home? Okay. I am personally someone who cannot work from home. I do not like working from home that much. If I'm going to dig into something, I need to be at the office. And for me, it's a mindset thing, okay? Because I have boundaries and I like to set boundaries at my home. And that's a whole nother ball of wax, the boundaries. But you really need to have a frank discussion with your employees, because here's the thing. Right now, at least, no one's required to work from home, okay? Everyone is, pretty much open back up. There are laws having to do with COVID that you have to comply with, but if somebody's seeking out a COVID diagnosis or somebody actually has COVID, but for the most part, everyone can be back at the office. But I know that not everyone's gone back to the office. So what I've seen is this sort of, because we were forced into it, there was never a question as to whether or not this was a good idea for certain employees. If you don't have a dedicated workspace at home, if you've got Legos that you're stepping over, around your desk or whatever, you got a kid running around, you're not going to be nearly as productive as you can be at the office. So I think that's the number one thing that employers really need to talk to their employees and say, hey, what's your setup like at home? What do you have? Do you have a quiet room you can work in? Do you have time throughout the day that you can work, or are you going to have to work sporadically? What are your responsibilities with your kids being home? Because there's a whole set of distractions that come in there that are not at play in the office, okay? So that's number one. Number two is the laws that apply. All right. So I think the biggest thing is that, employers don't realize that, say, workers' comp applies at home. Okay. When the home equals work, that is the workplace. Okay. Right. And workers' comp covers on-the-job injuries. So, look, you don't know as the employer, like I mentioned the Legos a second ago, like an employee is working, gets up, you know that at least at work, at the office, there's not going to be Legos on the floor. And if you've ever stepped on a Lego with your bare feet, you know how painful it can be.
I got a 9-year-old.
Yes, man, it is the worst. So anyway, I use this as an example. It could be anything, but you could be, just have an unsafe workplace at home and trip over something and get hurt. Now you got a workers' comp claim. I'm making a sandwich, cut my finger off, whatever. But, at home, during my lunch break or what have you, or is it at my lunch break? This is the question. Is that a workers' comp claim? So these are not like cut and dried, easy answers because the person does have to be working, right? But it's a whole new set of things that I think people haven't thought about. And quite frankly, I bet there's a lot of employees that don't understand, that have been injured at home, that probably don't understand. Look, this is a workers' comp issue.
How would an employer or an employee prove that, hey, I was actually working when this happened?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that the way you would have to say is that you're just going to have to defer to, was it during working hours? And if it was during working hours, and you're going to have to say they were working, and that is probably another law that is a nice segue into the other big thing that employers need to consider, which is, so when we talk about overtime, okay, you can either be exempt from overtime or you can be non-exempt from overtime. So folks like me, lawyers, professionals, that sort of thing, anyone who is using their own discretion over matters of significance at a company, generally speaking, are going to be exempt from overtime, meaning they can work 80 hours a week, they can work 30 hours a week, and they get paid the same amount.
Yeah.
But you're going to have people at home that are not exempt from overtime, and that, boy, you've got to have, and this has come down from the Department of Labor, that you had better have a really good system of entering time contemporaneously, or else if this employee comes back and says, well, I just got a hankering to do some work at 2:00 in the morning and decided to work all night, or something like that, controlling employees' hours. The biggest thing, though, and I run into this with these, when dealing with non-exempt employees who are working from home, is, management needs to stay out of their hair when they're not working, okay? When working hours are over, don't email these people, do not text them, and I'm offender number one. And look, and if you are, you need to be very clear that this does not need to be responded to until you're back on the clock, because that's work, and enough of that adds up over time. So yeah, I would say that the workers' comp consideration is a big issue, but really the keeping track of hours, making sure that you're not leaving yourself exposed to some gigantic overtime claim is another.
I used to be in the oil and gas industry, inspection.
Yeah.
And there's tons of lawsuits. I'm getting contacted right now.
I've done
tons of lawsuits.
Pipeline inspections. Oh man. Yes, there is.
You go give me some money from before?
Boy, I'll tell you, I think I've had, in 2014, I remember I had like 3 or 4 of those. I mean, there's been a lot. That's a big area, oil and gas, where, these overtime claims, and it's because these guys make so much money. They make so much money as it is, and then whenever you start to put that down to an hourly rate, the damages are through the roof. Yeah,
we used to get paid. And I used to hire people this way. We used to pay them a day rate.
Yes, day rates.
This is what you get paid. Whether you work 1 hour, you work 20.
Exactly.
And I felt was if you agreed to it.
That will say this about day rates. There are like, I won't get into it here, but there are ways to do a proper day rate and calculate overtime and everything. But here's the thing: you said what you said about you've agreed to it. Okay, there are just some things in life that the government will not let you waive. Okay, and being paid minimum wage, I mean, listen, we've got to be fair, we don't have a great track record in this country of paying people for work, okay? Like at certain periods of time. So it is a right, it is something that is sort of ingrained in the national consciousness, and it is you're very hard pressed to get an employee to ever be able to waive overtime that they're due. And in fact, if you want to settle an overtime claim with an employee, you generally have to get Department of Labor approval or court approval. So you can't even do it outside of that system.
See, I'd like to go back to some I worked in the early 90s, dude, because what we used to say was the more hours we worked, the less we got paid per hour.
Yes.
We used to call it Chinese overtime. We didn't understand it, but it's like, dude, I'm done at 6.
Right.
We're working 6 10s. I'm done. I ain't working anymore.
Yeah.
Because we had to fill in every hour we worked.
Yes.
And it's like, my paycheck's smaller, dude.
Yeah.
I worked 70 hours. I got made less than I did when I made 60.
Right.
How did that happen?
Yeah. That's why there's lawsuits. That's why there's lawsuits. Exactly.
That's the stuff I wanted. I mean, when I did, I used to make good. I mean, I used to make $250,000 to $300,000 a year doing it. I mean,
on basically a day rate, right?
Yeah.
And imagine that if you're able to come in and now say, I get time and a half for all the hours over 40 I worked.
Right.
You're doubling that.
Yeah.
You're doubling that. Yeah.
And then, but my always question was, there would be times we'd be rained out for 10 days. 12 days. It's like, okay, we didn't work at all.
Yeah.
And we got paid.
Right. And that's kind of like being on that, and that's essentially like being paid on a salary basis, right? Yeah. You're getting paid regardless of whether or not you're working or not.
Yeah. So it's very interesting when you start looking at it. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I was, one of my good friends owns a very big inspection firm.
Yeah.
And I actually recently had a lawyer reach out to me saying, do you want to go into a lawsuit against him?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he paid me well.
Right.
I liked the guy,
Right.
I didn't have anything against it. I just looked at it my way as I agreed to it. I was happy with it. I felt I got paid fairly. Right. And I was treated fairly.
Man, I'll tell you what, dude, that is a good example of having a loyal workforce could do for you, because those class actions are what are opt-in class actions. So normally, if you get a class action notice like, I don't know a recent one that I've gotten, but something about Google. I think like Google Hangouts or something like that. I got a class action notification for. Those are generally speaking, you're in it unless you opt out.
Right.
The ones that the overtime class actions are, you have to affirmatively opt in. So you have to have an employee make that exact consideration that you were making, which is, I've got to actually fill something out to opt into this. So maybe I should. Maybe this. I think this employer treated me great. That sort of thing.
Well, that's what I looked at, because I started thinking of is, I'm not in the industry anymore. I haven't been in the industry for 8-9 years. What if I want to get back in?
Yeah.
They're really tight knit.
Yeah. Now, to be fair with that, and this is for any employers listening out here, that is, to be fair to the employer, they're not allowed to discriminate on that basis at all. But
we know they're not allowed to.
But yeah, I unfortunately,
and I don't think this guy would.
Yeah.
He's salt of the earth guy.
Yeah.
We worked together at the same company. He left. My biggest mistake was probably not going with him.
Right.
And stuff like that. But he's a great guy. So so we're about to wrap up section 2 here. I think this has been really good. We're going to come back. What do you want to catch in the last session?
I'm going to talk a little bit about I used to use the word prophylactic. All right, so risk
prophylactics. Come on,
risk. I always giggle whenever I'm at Whataburger and they ask me if I want any condiments with my meal. I'm always like, anyway. I'd like to talk about like sort of what mitigation measures employers can take in terms of mitigating against those risks of employees working from home.
All right, so this is Mike Rager, Lee Winkleman. We're going to be back in a minute. Come on back and join us. I think this is a good session today.
Yep. Yeah, that's.
Do you want to experience the ease and convenience of the latest and most advanced home security system? Are you going away on vacation and want to have peace of mind where you're not at your home or at your office? According to the FBI, a robbery occurs every 13 seconds, and homes and businesses without a security system are 300% more likely to be burglarized. 𝗪𝗁 provides security solutions to residential and small businesses in the state of Texas and from California to Georgia, building a custom tailored security setup that matches your needs. Whether it is home security, fire and carbon monoxide detection, flood detection, connected senior care, managed video surveillance solutions, alarm monitoring, and life safety. In addition to fire and carbon monoxide detection, 𝗪𝗁 has a smart home and business integration, expanding security services to a lifestyle solution, keeping customers connected to their home and businesses from anywhere in the world, from their tablet or mobile device, so you can have peace of mind even if you're not at home or in your office. Reduce your energy cost, scheduling automatic changes in thermostats or lighting. And because we rely on our heroes every single day, Hawk Security offers security services discounts to military personnel, veterans, first responders, educators, and hospital personnel. Our mission is to keep our clients safe, treat them like family, and provide them with a user-friendly security system with personalized customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For integrity, honesty, passion, and excellent customer service, take a strong step today toward getting protected and call Rosanna Torres at 832-863-8574 because every home and business is unique and every security system should be unique too.
COVID-19 transformed the way we do business. Now more than ever, fast lead generation and customer retention will determine if a business survives or not. The 𝗪𝗵𝘁 video business card is designed to be sent using your smartphone. It's the next generation business card that will open the door for you while keeping social distancing. The 𝗪𝗵𝘁 video business card is affordable for anyone from startups to multinational companies and is already being used by hundreds of businesses. Stay open, stay in business. Call us today.
Hey, this is Michael Rage, your business guide. It's not time to pick on Jonathan again. He gives us the 5-second warning today, the 5-second warning. That's why we need this camera on this side. So here, everybody look at Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan, what's going on there?
Hey, Jonathan.
He's got to give us more than 5-second warning because we're just sitting here BSing, talking about everything.
Yeah.
All right, Lee. So we want to come in this last session.
Yes.
We want to... What's the focus right now? What are we going to focus on in talking to help business owners?
Yeah, I think that here's the bottom line. So in having a workforce that is working from home, you need to have the hard conversations with employees about whether they can actually do it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what I would encourage you to do is be very wary of boundaries. Okay. Like I mentioned my boundaries earlier. One of the things is if I'm working from home, boy, I'll just work. Mm-hmm. I'll just work. Family will not get any attention. And, it is, but that's sort of me. So I have to have these very set boundaries of this is my home time, this is my work time, that sort of thing. Your mileage may vary. All employees' mileage may vary. I think everyone is different when it comes to that. But I think having the difficult conversations about, ability to work from home, boundaries, what if you're not able to work from home, what can we do to help you work better from home? What kind of setup can we get you? Maybe you come into the office a certain number of hours and work from home a certain number of hours, whatever. Just don't assume that your employees can do a successful job working from home. I've already had, during this pandemic, I know I had 2 clients call me that had to fire people that were working from home that weren't doing, weren't productive. Right. So it's an issue that's coming up. Now, I've heard him also say, well, this same person wouldn't have been productive in the workplace, which, can be true. I mean, if somebody's motivated, they're motivated, but they may have distractions at home you know nothing about, okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is get a really good work at home policy, okay? This is like a written policy, and of course, it's something we can do for you here at HCWD. But no, it should definitely have. What do we do about hours? What do we do about tracking hours? If we're exempt employees, for example, are making sure that they're still doing exempt work from home. Because if they're not, sort of engaging in these matters of significance, if they're not exercising discretion or authority over matters of significance, they can actually lose their exempt status. Okay, so we need to make sure that our exempt employees are still doing exempt work from home. And then for our non-exempt employees, we need to make sure that we are tracking hours. We're going to put in place, overtime authorization forms, which, by the way, those are very popular. And with those, I always tell my clients, like, they assume you don't have to pay somebody if they don't have authorization to work overtime. Look, the standard is you either knew or should have known that they worked those hours. So all the overtime authorization does is kind of help you in that area. I generally always tell them, look, you're gonna have to pay the employee for the work, but you can fire them for doing it essentially. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a disciplinary infraction. And really probably after the first couple times you don't have to pay them because it's clear they should be working overtime. But anyway, you're gonna want clear expectations, having your non-exempt employees work only during set times. So we're going to say you guys are only available to work or only able to work from 9 to 5. Any work done outside of that is unauthorized. You need to get permission to do it. Train your management on how to engage with non-exempt employees after, during hours and after hours. And then, you want to put into place expectations about, for example, confidentiality. Okay, if you've got really high-end confidential documents that are sitting out in the open at somebody's house, you don't know who's coming in and out of there. Yeah. So you want very clear expectations about that. So
everybody, you talk about stupid stuff. My first time I ever worked for Exxon, I worked over there at Greenway Plaza. I was on a floor with only 2 people on the floor.
Oh wow!
And so I'm working on this pipeline project that was public knowledge. It's everything out there. It's like my second day. And I was told that every time you left your office, you had to lock it.
Yeah.
And I came back one day, I had to go pee, and I was gone for like 4 minutes. And I don't know where it came from, but there was a frowny face sticker on my door.
See?
And I'm like, what is that?
You had your door unlocked.
I left my door unlocked, and I'm like, but everything that's in my office is available online.
Right.
I'm not working on anything confidential.
Right.
But you talk about losing respect as an employee.
Yeah.
Like a frowny face sticker, dude. I thought I was like in 4th grade.
Right. Yeah.
It's you're paying me $200,000 a year and you're putting frowny face stickers on
Yeah. And especially if it was a frowny face sticker that you were supposed to decipher as to what the frowny face sticker was for.
I just want to know where the person came from, because there was only 2 of us on the...
Right.
Was somebody like spying on me, waiting for me to go pee, and then running up to check to see if I locked my door?
The answer to that question is yes. 100% yes.
I know
that's absolutely
yes.
what happened. Yes. There was a camera, and they saw that you did not lock your door, and then somebody from HR came down there with the frowny face sticker. I will tell you this. I've Exxon, I don't know how long ago this was, but kudos to Exxon now. I will say this. They have one of the best HR departments at any company in the country.
They do. That would just is like, oh my gosh. Really? Okay, fine. Tell me once. All right, I got in trouble.
HR. I love HR. I mean, I love HR professionals. They're my people. I'm at heart an HR professional because I'm in HR. I'm at heart kind of a lover of human beings. I think that you have to do that to be in HR. But I will tell you some of the stuff that comes. It's kind of kiddish. It's kind of 4th grade. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So one of the things, what you're saying, I don't know if you guys seen it. It's a software that we use to go into companies called Trainuals. Okay. And so it's a software that kind of sets up who does what, how, why. Yeah. But there's a lot of video and there's a lot of stuff training on there. And what we can do, and I wonder how this could help, is the employees need to test out that they understand the rules.
Yes.
So you can put a section. Here's my work at home.
Right.
They go through. You as the employer can see that they watch the modules, whether it's written or video, and then they can go ahead and test it out.
And this is a perfect segue into what you do. Is I think, to me, if you're going to have a remote workforce, it is absolutely essential that you have things automated, you have policies in place, procedures in place where there's no sort of second guess. I mean, for everything, everything that needs to be done needs to have a procedure involved, because you're not necessarily going to have the same interaction you're going to have at the workplace where you can just go ask somebody or something like that. These things all need to be written down. It needs to be followed.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, 95% of businesses have absolutely no policies and procedures right now. They're horrible.
Yeah, for sure.
And the thing is if your key employee leaves, you're screwed.
Exactly.
You don't know what they do.
You don't know anything what they do. Or if somebody gets COVID and has to go in the hospital. I mean, there's a good, God forbid, or whatever. I mean, that is something I know that we as a firm have really invested in a lot, is coming up with our own, policies and procedures and automating things. And man, that what you're doing there is just so invaluable. I mean, it's just you can't put a price tag on it, because that is what gets you running like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's what makes your company valuable.
It does. Yeah.
And as I'm teaching all my clients, you build a company that's a sellable asset, whether you want to sell it or not.
Correct.
Because now it's running as a well-oiled machine, and as you know, that about 90% of businesses don't sell because they want to. They sell because they have to.
Yeah.
So let's be in a position to get the most money out of it.
And all this is going to do is going to make your life better. I mean, it's going to reduce the number of headaches that you have as a business owner. The more you can get things automated and get things off of your plate and get things out of people's head, that's the biggest thing. We used to call it an epistemological black box. Okay, so this is like this idea that if there would be lawyers that if they died, like an entire case would be taken with them because they knew everything about the case. They knew everything that was going on has never been written down anywhere else, and that's such a dangerous place to be.
Well, we had one of the companies that I had before this, Corporate Memory Solutions, that we just bankrupted it last week. But it's gone now. I don't know any debt on it. But we went into a major law firm and we sat down and showed them what we did. We wrote these flow charts on how work was moved, and we're sitting there with the two of the partners, and they just looked at me. And I go, well, what's wrong? And they said, well, we brought you in here so we could refer you out to our clients. And so we just realized that we've got 3 legal secretaries, and between the 3 of them, they got 110 years of experience in this firm. And I just looked at them. I said, what happens when one of them dies?
Yeah.
And the partners went, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
And for 3 years, dude, we went back to them every year on an anniversary. Has any of them died yet?
Yeah.
Because they never hired us to come. They couldn't justify spending money to have an attorney sit down with us and write their policies and procedures on how they function. And I go, and we put together a great formula showing how much it would make more money, and they just wouldn't do it.
No, this is why we have. I'll give a shout out to Madison Hubbs. She is we just transitioned her over to our legal administrator, which is that's the person who's a non-lawyer that's in charge of doing all the non-lawyer stuff at the law firm. Okay, like meeting with you and stuff like that. And she's doing an excellent job, and we're sort of building this job up on the fly. But that's why, especially in jobs, in situations where like you got guys like me or accountants that are working by the billable hour, we tend to be very stingy with our time and not want to do anything unless it's billable. So that, I think law firms or any place that runs off the billable hour really needs to have a salaried or sort of hourly person that you're paying that's doing all that stuff for you.
So 9 minutes, huh? Okay, sweet. Oh, he's knocking his head going, okay, I thought we had like 3 left, so I was going to...
Oh, we got 9 minutes left?
Good. We got 9 minutes, so we can bullshit for a long time.
Yeah, we can.
Awesome. I love that. So let me give me your thoughts on what's going... Okay, so everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
People can really actually go back in now if they want.
Right.
We're getting another COVID spike. What do you think is going to... How long do you think business owners are going to keep people out?
Okay, so I will tell you right now, this is a 100% true story. I started at a law firm. My very first law firm job out of law school was at a firm called Baker Botts. It's a big size kind of national law firm based out of Houston. And I worked in the Dallas office. And I worked with a dear man by the name of 𝗪𝗵 𝗫𝗫. He was kind of a mentor to me when I started off. And when I started there in 2003, the very first BlackBerry had come out, okay? And the partners were the only ones that had them. It was a big deal. And these were gross looking little things, man. They looked like a pager, but you could get email on them, but it was like really hard to read. Anyway, Tim was so excited about this, and he came to me and he was, I was asking him about it, and he said, Lee, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to predict, he said, with the advent of this, like with this type of technology, that by the time you are my age, and he was 40, he said, by the time you're my age, we will not have offices anymore. He said he thought everybody was going to be working from home by this time. Now, that is, he was right in this sense that what that technology has done is it has allowed us to be more mobile and do work outside of the office. But what it also has done too is it's a double-edged sword because it's a leash to the office too. Okay, that's a whole nother. That's about boundaries. We were talking about, but I think that this was something. The work from home movement was something that had been going on, and I think it just so happened that we had the natural disaster impetus. Because I do think at the end of the day, it can be a very, very, very good thing, okay? Because, listen, I've had to commute 2 hours a day, okay? No, seriously. And the stress, the strain, the time suck that a commute takes out of you is, once you're rid of it, you can't put a dollar figure on it, okay? So you're getting people that are not having to commute. They're able to... they're not having to leave their homes. There's a comfortability people have at home, and if there's just a dedicated place for that employee to work and there's no distractions, I don't see any reason why. I think most employees report subjectively that they feel more productive at home than they do at work. And a lot of it is just the simple fact of having to go somewhere and be somewhere all day.
Yeah, well, it's funny, they commute, you say it. That's why I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
When we sold, me and my partner sold our company in 1999, 1999, 2000. We sold it to an engineering firm out of Boston. They had just bought and partnered with a company out of Pearland. And so we were out of Louisville and Cincinnati. And essentially they bought me.
Right.
I was the one who had all the connections into the oil and gas industry. I was the one that knew everybody. He ran it.
Right.
So they bought me. He went out. They brought me in to run the partner. And I had the option to go to Boston or go to Houston.
Okay.
And I couldn't afford to live anywhere. They were paying me good.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford to live anywhere near Boston.
Yeah.
I was going to have to live in New Hampshire. And I wasn't going to take the train for 45 minutes each way. I was not going to waste an hour and a half of my day sitting on the train.
Yep.
And that's why I came to Houston, because I ended up moving into an apartment that was right across the street from the office in Pearland.
Yeah.
And, you know, we didn't have meetings with anybody till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we could let traffic clear.
Right.
It meant nothing.
Yeah.
And I've been driving around lately, and traffic's coming back, and it blows. I hate it.
I do too. Yeah. No, I noticed the exact same thing. Traffic is coming way back, and I'm surprised because I thought people would be there'd be another push.
Well, but I don't know, but like downtown's a ghost town.
It is a ghost town.
So where's everybody going?
Yeah, PricewaterhouseCoopers, or I don't know what they're called these days, but one of the big accounting firms. I mean, this is national accounting firms. They have I don't know how many floors in the Chase Building downtown that they've said that they're not coming back at all until April at the earliest. Okay, so there's a lot of businesses, because I do want to mention this. This is something that if we have time, the thing with this COVID deal is too.
We have 4 minutes.
Okay,
so we have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay. I do want to talk about too, giving your employees grace with stuff, and that this COVID thing, everyone has reacted differently to it. Okay, there are some people like me, quite frankly, who, you know, I'm like, maybe call me negligent about it, I don't know, but I'm just not scared. It's not something that scares me. It doesn't keep me from doing anything in my life. Okay.
Right.
There are other people who are absolutely scared to death of it, whether that's founded or unfounded. We can argue about that all day, and that's not worth arguing about. The fact of the matter is that person is scared, and that person's going to get triggered if they have to come to work. Boy, that's a whole nother. We could do a whole nother podcast on triggers, okay? But things that trigger people.
Maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. But triggers, you know, triggering is one of those things where once somebody's triggered, man, they're no longer thinking rationally. They're just triggered, and so you've got to be real cognizant of that whenever you're talking about bringing your workforce back to work. And I think that that's what a lot of employers, quite frankly, have been doing, which is they were working from home because they had to. Now they're talking about bringing people back, and people are still scared. So, you know, there's this thought of, well, let's just keep them at home. And I'll tell you, if you have an employee that's scared to death of getting COVID, boy, don't make them come back to the office. I mean, they're surely not going to be productive there, you know?
No.
So,
I agree with you. And you know, I go out and I try to be safe. You know, we did the